Welcome and thank you for joining us. I am Cindy Emond from Street Macadam, and we're going to do a live with the American filmmaker and photographer Max Sturgeon. Max divides his year between working as an assistant director in the film and television industry and traveling the world as a nomadic street and documentary photographer, calling home Warsaw, Paris, and Austin. As an assistant director, he has worked on Hollywood blockbuster feature films like two of the Transformers franchise, The Last Night and Age of Extinction. He's worked on the film Venom, Let There Be Carnage, just to name a few examples. He has also worked on my all-time favorite TV series, True Detective. Now let me find him and invite him on.
Hi,
Hi, Max. Thank you for joining us on Street Macadam.
glad to be here. Thanks.
Oh, so tell me, Max, film versus photography. So you have a day job as a Hollywood assistant director. I want to know how and when you got into photography.
So I got into photography probably 15 years ago. I started off just taking photos when I was traveling. I was more travel was a passion of mine, and then I was just shooting, and I started shooting more and more and doing travel photography. And
Yes.
I would say I got into street photography and taking it more seriously like 7 years ago, maybe.
Okay. Okay. And how does your job as an assistant director shape your visual grammar?
My job so much doesn't shape it in a way, but a lot of my job is technical, but
Okay.
my love for cinema, which is what got me into doing that, I guess, has
Uh-huh.
shaped it a lot visually.
Uh-huh.
As far as like telling stories and the types of photos I like, being more cinematic and so it definitely has had an influence visually and storytelling wise for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you spend half the year working on really high intensity film and television sets, and the other half of the year you spend sort of nomadically with a camera. So how do these two vastly different paces of life feed into each other?
Well, I mean, the intensity of my job and the schedule of it allows for me to have this lifestyle where I can work, 80 hours a week and intense, nonstop. It's super intense and while I'm doing it, but it allows for like roughly half the year. Its schedule is always different, but roughly half the year I work, and the other half I can, it allows me the freedom to go travel and do the work on the things, my personal projects. So
Amazing. Lucky, lucky you.
yeah.
So your film work, you're managing a massive crew and executing a really tightly controlled script. So, but in street photography, you have zero control over your environment. So, do you view photography as an escape from that control, or are you kind of looking for the same kind of cinematic structure in the street?
No, definitely not the same thing. I think when I really like fell in love with photography was
Yeah.
I wanted to be a filmmaker as well, and I did a couple of really small movies,
Uh-huh.
and but you have to depend on so many people for that, and
Mm.
it's a very difficult thing to get money and people involved,
Yeah, yeah.
and when you're making a film, you have to
Producing.
depend on a lot of people. It's not you don't have any and you lose control of that. And one thing that's great about photography
Yeah.
is it's just you and you just go, so I definitely, it's different for me and that's what I like. I can just go do whatever I want. It's just all on
Okay.
me.
Yeah, the
And
freedom.
yeah.
So has your eye for framing been permanently altered by looking at things through that cinematic kind of widescreen aspect ratio?
I would say it what I think it's, yeah, it was altered in a way, but I've tried to get away from certain things, like specifically shooting horizontal is
Uh,
one thing,
yeah,
because if you love cinema and you grew up watching movies, everything's horizontal. And now in
yeah.
today's
I
world,
shoot that way. So,
yeah, and in today's world, it's, with everybody shooting,
mhm.
stories vertically, right, on your
Yeah,
phone.
sure.
So I had to consciously make an effort to shoot vertical as well. It's something I had to make myself do. I do
Uh-huh.
both, but at first I had to make myself. Now I just do whatever is natural, depending on the frame. Because
Okay.
a lot of the flash photographers I really liked were shooting mostly, if not all, vertical.
Huh.
I
Okay.
think a lot of times for flash photography, if you're doing a portrait
Yeah.
specifically, you want to capture just the essence of that person.
Yes.
Vertical works better. So that's something I had to get away from a little bit, from that horizontal constraint.
I want to ask you something. Can you talk about the work that you shot on set? Because I've seen
Mhm.
quite a bit of that black and white in your website. So,
Yeah, I've only shot a little bit. I at one
uh-huh.
time toyed with the idea of becoming a set photographer, but
Huh.
I decided I didn't want to, because in a way, working on film for, like, I've done it for over 20 years, and it's kind of
Yeah.
killed my passion somewhat for cinema because it's become a job, and I didn't want to do that for both my passions, in a way. But and most films won't allow it. So when
Okay.
I mean, they're very, you have to sign NDAs, you can't take photos on set, stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
I did a couple of jobs. Specifically, I did this National Geographic job where I talked to the producers, and they're like, "Yeah, it's
Wow.
great. You can shoot." So I shot on that, and I was shooting every day.
Cool.
And then the other photos that you probably saw on my website are from my films that I directed.
Yeah.
So obviously, I had a
Yeah.
lot of myself to
Okay.
that. So
Yeah, of course, of course. Beautiful, beautiful work. Now, you mentioned in the past when we chatted that you used to be incredibly shy when you first started out sort of doing
yeah.
photography, and a lot of aspiring photographers struggle with that too. So, what was the exact turning point for you where, you allowed yourself to get into people's space kind of thing?
So I was a really shy kid, and it's something I've gradually overcome. So it's kind of corresponded with that in a
Uh-huh.
way. Maybe it's helped me a little bit in some ways too.
Okay.
But so what initially helped me, so when I was doing photography when I was traveling, I was using a zoom lens. I was, afraid
Yeah.
to get too close to people.
Yeah. Hmm.
The first thing that helped me was I did a workshop with Maciej Dakovic, who's
Ah,
a,
cool.
really known street photographer who does tons of workshops. He's been doing them for, I don't know how many years, 20, 15 years, something like that.
Uh-huh.
And it was really eye-opening for me.
Huh.
We were in India, which made it super easy because it's one of the easiest places if you want to get comfortable getting close to people. India is
Where were
probably one of the
you?
best.
Sorry, you were India.
Mhm.
Where were you?
India.
India. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
At Stoner Pramila, so it was this crazy festival too.
Yeah.
So it's a really easy place because nobody cares, if you photograph them.
Yeah.
They like it, and then the biggest issue is people smiling and want to be photographed. But
That's great.
so, but he taught me also to use one lens, instead of
Yeah.
not to zoom in, but to go to where the frame is, So it
Uh-huh.
was so. And instantly when I started doing it, I was like, oh, nobody really cares, but even then, I was like, I'm never gonna be one of those people that flashes people. It like terrified me.
Okay.
I think I was critical of. I feel like there's a lot of people who are critical of flash photography. I feel like most of the people who are
Um,
critical of it are just
uh-huh.
don't have the guts to do it themselves. I mean, I hate to say that, but I think it's somewhat
Okay.
true
Yeah.
because I was like that too. I'm like, oh, I don't like that. It's
Mhm.
this kind of photography, and but so I traveled to a few photographers who were shooting flash and saw that it didn't really
Yeah.
make a difference as far as people's reactions, and so I just started
Did
toying with it and
you?
playing with it, and now it's mostly what I shoot with
Uh,
flash. But
yeah, because flash photography is essentially confrontational by nature. So, what do you find that adding flash adds to your images?
well, I don't think it's confrontational.
Uh,
It can be. I mean, if you watch these Bruce Gilden videos, sure, it can be.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But he's doing that. It's like a whole, shtick with him. But it's like it doesn't have to be confrontational. Like I very rarely have a confrontational encounter or negative encounter. I don't think it has to be confrontational. I photograph
Yeah.
people and then I smile at them, and sometimes if they want to talk, I talk. So I don't.
Okay.
I think if you're getting close to someone, they're going to see you anyway. I mean, just having a flash, I don't know. I don't think it has to be confrontational. I guess is what I'm saying. But sorry, what
Yeah.
was the other part of the question?
Okay. Well, I was just asking how does it add to your images? What do you
Well,
find? It
I
gives
mean,
you,
it definitely adds. I mean, if anyone is, looks at photos, it adds something
yeah,
different because
yeah.
there's something. It captures the frame in a unique way and freezes subjects. And I'm also toying a lot with slow shutter speed and low light. So you have the dark background and the illuminated
Uh-huh.
foreground, or
Yeah, for sure.
a slow shutter where I do a lot of I like to experiment and push things, and
Uh-huh.
you can't do that without a flash. I mean, you can, but it limits you somewhat. So.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So now you're using a 28 millimeter
Mhm.
fixed lens, so you're definitely close to your subjects. And how do you establish that rapport, a few seconds before you click? Are you making eye contact with your subjects?
It's always different. Sometimes I don't want them looking at me, so I'm not.
Hmm.
And if I am, what I do a lot in my photos. If you look at my photos, so there's all these rules of street photography, and one of them is
Hmm.
that people don't look at the camera. That's one of the rules of street photography. These
Yeah.
people who ever made these rules, which a lot of these rules, the original street photographers weren't following these rules, but people along the way have just made these rules, and one of them is you don't look at the camera. But what I like to do, and I've seen other photographers who do this or even talked about it, is that they're not looking at my camera, but they're looking at me usually. So I
Okay.
actually, a lot of times if I see something really interesting in this person, I'll wait till they
Huh.
make eye contact with me.
Huh.
I'll frame usually with a viewfinder, and then I'll just kind of
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah, I was gonna.
So I have the frame still, and then I'll make eye contact with them, and then I'll snap the shot.
Uh-huh.
But it's always different. I rarely talk to them before, almost never. I try not to. I mean, there's rare circumstances where you don't feel comfortable without
Mm-hmm.
talking to them first, so I have, but it's very, very rare that I do that.
So how do you read a situation in the few seconds before you actually take the picture? How do you know that you're going to go for it or when to hold back?
I think it's different for everyone, but I've always had a really good skill of reading situations and people
Okay.
very quick. And it also comes with my job of making decisions very quickly.
Mm,
So I assess it and see, and there's oftentimes I don't take the photo. I don't
yeah,
feel comfortable. This could be,
yeah.
they might react negatively, so I just don't take it.
That
Um,
would have been my next sort of question. So, like, do you feel like there's something like you take a photo and there's something about the subject that the exchange wasn't equal, kind of thing?
mhm.
You feel,
Yeah, I don't think it's ever equal because they're never getting anything from it in a way, so it's
yeah.
never equal. But I don't want it to be unpleasant. I don't want what I'm doing
Uh-huh.
to ruin someone's day or upset them. And honestly,
Okay.
and when I do have these rare encounters where they are negative, it
Yeah.
has a big effect on me. It discourages me from shooting. I don't want to, for a few days I might not even shoot, or I might be,
Uh,
I don't like these negative encounters. I don't want to upset someone, so
yeah.
I try and avoid that. But when it does
Yeah.
happen, you can't avoid it.
Yeah.
Sometimes the rare occurrences that have happened tend to be a lot of times very religious people, various
Okay.
religions, not one
Sure.
specific religion, but
Uh-huh.
or sometimes people who are just unstable or something, something in some way that
Something's going
they're not
on.
even acting
Sure.
rational in general. So,
Sure. Yeah, I get you. What would stop you from photographing something? Sort of, where's your line?
there's not something specific. It's funny. I was listening. This is something I thought about the last week a lot because I was listening
Mm.
to a few other podcasts or stuff with photographers, and
Uh-huh.
they get really deep into it about what you photograph and what you shouldn't photograph, and children, homeless people. There's all these like
Uh-huh.
things, and they
Yeah.
get real.
Unspoken rules.
Yeah, but they get really like thinking about it too much. And then one of the photographers said something is like,
Huh.
you should take the photo and figure out later if you want to use it. And I
Huh.
don't do
So
that. I mean,
listen.
I
No, me
do,
neither.
but I don't want to think about too much. If I see something interesting, I'll shoot it usually. But that being said,
Uh-huh.
if I see something, I'm like, no, if my instincts, it just doesn't feel right. I
Says
just
it's
won't do
wrong.
it. I just go with my
Okay.
gut, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm. Now, to talk sort of about your process and maybe the evolution of that. So, you shoot both film and digital, don't you?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. And panoramic cameras and Holgas, and
Mhm.
how do you decide what tool you're going to use when you go out? Does the project call for something in particular, or is it more intuitive?
Yeah, it kind of develops sometimes. The way I develop, sometimes my projects develop over just shooting. I'll be in a
Uh-huh.
place or shooting, and then it'll become a project. But yeah, specifically, I shoot mostly film for a couple of different projects that
Hmm.
it lends itself to more. I mean, and I'm shooting mostly black and white film now, partially because of the cost. This
Oh,
color film's prohibitive, to buy
crazy.
it and develop it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
True.
But and mostly when I'm shooting film, I prefer. You mentioned some of the cameras I'm doing, but
Yeah.
I prefer to use different aspect ratios than a normal. So when I'm shooting digital, if I'm shooting a normal size photo, I'll just use my digital camera. And
Okay.
I use 1:1 medium format for like a Hoga or
Yeah.
a panoramic, so really long, wide shot.
Hmm.
So it gives you a different look, to mix in if you're editing something.
Yeah. 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 Agreed. So you alternate between really intense color and then deep black and white.
Mhm.
So do you decide when you are before leaving the house that you're going to, is it a project decision that drives you towards color or black and white, or do you do it image
Yeah,
by image?
yeah, it does. I mean, I typically shoot color when I'm shooting digital. I very
Okay.
rarely. I have in the past set my digital camera to view the black and white images. So I see when I'm
Yeah.
shooting digital, I'll see
Yeah.
the black and
Okay.
white JPEG. I
Uh-huh.
haven't done it in a long time, but I was working on a specific project, and I was like, you know what, I'll want to see it black and white because I want it to be black and white. But I
Okay.
don't normally do that, so I normally shoot color, and if I decide to change to black and white later, I will. But with film, like I said, I'm buying black and white film typically
Yeah.
now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
so that decision's made before, obviously, since with film you have to
yeah. Sure.
make that
Sure.
decision.
You're prepping in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, you shoot flash off camera, don't you?
Yeah,
So,
usually. Sometimes it becomes a hassle, or you got to do quick, and you just got to put because setting up the wireless takes a little time, so you have to be ready.
yeah.
So you have to do a little prep to set up the wireless.
Yeah, sure.
But I
Managing
definitely
that
prefer
technical
that.
variables. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like distance and power, whatever angle, while also reading the scene. That's a lot going on at once, kind of thing. So is
Yeah.
it preset? Do you preset mostly? Or-
Yeah. So I shoot all manual almost always.
Okay.
So
Uh-huh.
including everything focus, all the settings. I don't do anything auto.
Okay.
But I preset, and I have a standard. Like I'm pretty much usually shooting f11, and I zone focus, so I set the focus to like 1.5 meters.
Mm-hmm.
And if I read the light, if I'm shooting daylight, I know what ISO to set it at, what speed to set it at. You
Mm-hmm.
have to also take in a like film sync. Like with my Fuji, the max film sync is 250, so I can't go beyond that.
Okay.
So yeah, I preset everything, and when you're going in and out of clouds or shade, you have to adjust a little bit.
Yeah. Sure.
Um, yeah, and then the flash is set to a certain intensity.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I do everything manually, so I have to be thinking ahead a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Now for the X-Pen and the Horizon Perfect, maybe you can describe what the Horizon Perfect is for us. And
Yeah, actually, I wish I would have brought this over here, but it's a camera that has a lens. If you have 1 second, I'll just grab it
go
really
get
quick.
it. Excuse us while we have a. I'll reset my chair, which is sinking on me.
It's better to see
Talk.
it,
Jeez.
so it has a swinging lens. So essentially, what it does is it shoots it's film, and it shoots a
Uh-huh.
180-degree photo.
Cool.
So the lens will actually swing, so you can actually see it here. It's
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you can see the lens goes like
Yeah,
across,
we can. Yeah, and we can hear
and
it.
you actually you can't hold it like a normal camera. My fingers would
Oh,
actually be in the shot,
okay.
so you have to hold it like this or like
Uh-huh.
this, which is awkward a bit, but
Yes, it is.
yeah. But it gives some really interesting photos, and
That's
there's
the wide panoramic frame, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So
So
if you have a roll of 36 exposures, it gets you like 20 because it takes a longer.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And the X-Pan, on the contrary, what's the difference?
Yeah, the X-Pan is this is the cheap Russian version of a wide lux,
Oh,
which is being they stopped making the wide lux. I stopped buying them because they break release and they're very expensive to repair.
oh,
But they're remaking them now. Jeff Bridges is actually starting
uh-huh.
a company because he shoots on it, the actor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so he's doing like 3D printing and they're making them. So they're starting to sell them already now,
Really?
I think.
Oh, that's cool.
So this is like the cheap Russian version of that. But
Uh-huh.
the X-Pan is another camera that's popular, and it does the same as just a wide format. But what it
Uh-huh.
really is doing is just cropping the top and the bottom, so you're
Oh,
not
so
truly getting
it's not
panoramic.
actually, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I had one, but I sold it like last year actually because I just stopped shooting with it. So
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, now the Holga, you use that as
Mhm.
well, but that's
Yeah.
like notorious for getting things wrong. So, Like, has that unpredictability, given you something that the
Yeah,
precision
that's
you
what I like
can't
about it. I
see?
mean, you never know what you're going to get, which is kind of awesome. And I think you get images that can't be recreated like in a digital or something. It's very,
Okay.
unique. If I do know how to use it somehow, I mean, it's crazy because you can't change the settings on it too much. So you're kind of locked into certain things. But also I use it with flash some, so that gives you a little bit more control because you can
Um,
add light because yeah, you can't change too much on the camera settings. So you need, and once you have a certain film in there, you're kind of committed to something, a certain type of light.
okay.
Yeah. No,
Um,
it's an interesting camera. I like, yeah.
did you tell me about like a swing lens on 180-degree photos? Did you not?
Well, this one I just showed, yeah.
That, oh, okay. So
Yeah.
that is like not the X-Pan or
No, this is the Horizon, and the Wide Lux is the other version of it.
the Horizon? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Now, when you're working, okay, on a long-term project, how do you edit down? What's your
Ooh.
ritual?
So that's, I mean, it's a process that I enjoy, but I've recently become kind of consumed in it because I've shot so much, and I have
Um,
several projects, and so it's a lot to take in. So of course I do, I print them out,
yeah.
I narrow them down.
Uber.
I have a process of narrowing them down, and which is something else I learned on the Mache's workshops. Every day where, when you're in a workshop with him, you edit and you
Okay.
star your photos, so it automatically narrows them down and creates
Yeah.
so you have a certain amount, and then then I print like, I don't know, a couple hundred, and I try and come up with a story, but that's also a bit messy. So recently I just discovered there's a couple whiteboarding websites or
Oh,
apps,
okay. Yeah.
and yeah, there's one called Miro, Miro.
Miro. Okay.
Yeah, a photographer friend introduced me to it. It's just like a whiteboarding, but it
Yeah.
essentially does the same thing. Like I can import 200 images, just throw it on there, and then you can just
Ah,
move them all around. You can zoom in and out. You can do it on your iPad, so it's great for
oh, that's
for
great.
sequencing.
That is great.
Yeah.
So do you sit with them yourself, or do you get input from, like a trusted eye outside of do you have?
Usually I'll do it myself. I'll come up with something myself, then I'll start showing it to people. So
Okay.
I'll usually narrow it down. Sometimes I'll just show, if I have like 200 photos, I'll just show my friend, like some, friends, and say which
Yeah.
ones you like the most.
Uh-huh.
But I do have people look at it at some point for sure. Yeah. And give
Okay.
feedback.
When you're getting closer to making a book, for example, or maybe
Yeah.
even a zine type of thing.
Yeah. Usually. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now, how much do you shoot in a day when you're like fully into it?
If I'm like fully into it,
Mhm.
like shooting all day, like traveling, maybe
Mhm.
1,000 photos.
Yikes.
Yeah, but it can completely vary. I mean, that's a busy day.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's 500, sometimes it's 1,000. It depends on what you run
Lots.
into that day,
It's a lot.
.
How do you know when you're done then,
I
Max?
mean, you don't. I don't base it on how many. Like I just shoot until I'm,
Yeah,
I think I shoot less than I used to. I've kind of,
really.
yeah, I shoot more because I'm shooting so much with flash now. I really prefer the end of the day, and like
Yeah,
post the
you got the
sunset,
light.
and then even after sunset when you still got just the blue in the sky, or in the
Mm-hmm.
morning, I try and stay away from. I very rarely go out and shoot all day. That being said, if I'm traveling somewhere very, far
Yeah.
away, I'll try and maximize.
Yeah, Max it. Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
Um, so I find that your work really seamlessly pivots between hyper saturated color and then deep somber black and white.
Hmm.
So I'd like to talk about your projects. So I want to ask you about Of a Different Stripe, which
Hmm.
is your long-term project around the Bay of Bengal.
Hmm.
You've described it as like an assault on your senses and street theater. So how do you go about taking images that avoid cliche, postcard photos when you're shooting these highly documented places in India?
Yeah, so I think the type of photos. It's hard to say what's cliche anymore because you have your postcard photos, but then you also have your street photos that are everybody's doing, which is also can be
Also,
cliche as well.
exactly. Yeah.
And I find myself this is something I struggle with, like because some of my friends I think purposely trying to avoid take those photos, the
Hmm.
too much of the juxtapositions and the photos you've seen something
Hmm.
similar before, and
Hmm.
but I try and I don't, if I see something that's interesting, I take it, and the truth is. if you're trying to grow an audience and you want, and some of those photos, they're not usually my favorites. The ones that are more like fall into this like cliche type of thing that people are
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
I want something more unique, that, like, is my preference. But I shoot all kinds of different things. If you have your camera and you see something, you might as well shoot it, and then you can decide what to do with it. But I think postcard photos, I really like. That's kind of easy for me to stay away from, just because my style, I don't think really,
Lends itself to
Yeah. I think that's more what I used to shoot when I was on travel photography. So, yeah.
By contrast, your project, all the things that could happen next. So that was born out of a period of, your winter quarantine in Poland and recovering it from grief, etc. So how did photography help you in that period?
So that, so I mean, at the time, especially this one portion or chapter of it, this is a big project I'm trying to do, which is going to have maybe multiple books involved. But specifically the one that was, in the winter time when I'd lost a few people really close to me. It was really my only escape. I mean, also I was supposed to be quarantined and not even leave. When I got to Poland, I wasn't even supposed to leave the apartment or the house.
Okay.
And it was really cold in winter, and it completely snowed over and everything.
Yeah.
But that was my one escape, was to just go out and shoot for a little bit. And it wasn't even for very long. It was freezing cold too, on top of everything else. It wasn't very comfortable.
So you're in and out.
Yeah. But it was an escape for me. Yeah, for sure, to go out. And then another chapter of it is when we went to Africa to get a little escape. So a lot of it had to do with
beautiful color work. Yeah. But when you look at those two projects side by side, do you see the same photographer? They're quite different.
Yeah, I was trying to do something very different stylistically, which I think is what makes these chapters interesting is as well. It was purposeful to try and make it different. I was going for very specific color tones, the winter, the blue, and then the black and white.
Very blue.
And then even for this summer one in Africa, I actually did something I've never done before, and still haven't done again. I really turned up the color temperature on my camera all the way up almost.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's really yellow, and that was done in camera.
Yes. Cool.
Yeah, and I have the raw files, but then I look at the raw files and they're kind of boring to me. I'm been using mostly JPEGs. It's hard to recreate that look. Yeah.
Okay. Now you said that. Let me think. You have been shooting strictly long-term projects now, rather than chasing single images, single standalone, the hero shot. So how has that shifted in the way you look at a scene when you are out walking and working, kind of thing?
I mean, it doesn't change too much. It changes where I go and when I shoot more, I think, than when I'm actually out, because maybe it does some. I'm looking for specific things, maybe, but if it falls, it's a lot of it. Usually, when the projects revolve around a place. So if I'm there, I'm just trying to get what's interesting to me, and I guess I do look for specific stuff. I've seen some photographers even have they create lists of things they might be looking for, and that's something I've thought about doing, but I haven't done it yet. Just to help you have in your head, this is the type of stuff that I'm missing for this project.
That's interesting. Yeah, I never thought of that. But you are putting together your stories during the editing process. You are
more so. Yeah,
you're not going out.
Like I said, it determines the where and when I shoot, and then I am looking for some things. But yeah, the story comes together. A lot of it comes together in the editing, for sure.
In the editing portion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you told me that you shoot faster than you edit. So is it, ditto for me. Yeah. So my filing system is also crap. So it's, when you come home with thousands of photos from months-long trips, etc. So what's your editing process like? How do you find that narrative thread in the chaos?
Yeah. So, I think, I narrow it down pretty easily. Like I said, I do a starring system, so you automatically narrow down the good images.
Yeah.
So if I have a project and I have a certain amount of images that fit into that project, I think where I start with, I take all the best images. So say I have 20 images that I think are really, really good, let's say.
Yeah, bam.
So I start with that, and and then I try and build around that. Like, what images complement or go with this, that can tell the story around these. And I'll try and sometimes build, it's different ways of telling, the story, like showing more scenes of
Okay.
a place to establish.
Yeah.
It's like a establishing shot in a film, for instance,
Yeah.
right?
That's
So,
that
so
analogy.
maybe, yeah, there's so many different ways I feel like you can tell a story because there's so many different kinds of books that you
Hmm.
can utilize different techniques to do that. But
Hmm. So could you tell me, or can you tell us about your mentors or, or other influences?
there's been so many influences, I would say. But Mate was definitely a mentor for me. I
Oh,
think he's a
okay.
great teacher, even though my style
Yeah.
is completely different than his now.
All right. Yeah.
But he taught me all the rules and how to do. I think he's doing his workshops. I would recommend to anybody is trying to get into street photography.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
And I did a workshop with Vineet as well, and then
Uh-huh.
traveling with my friends like Guido and Oscar, who
Uh-huh.
taught me how to use Flash.
Right.
Guido Venderswan and Oscar Bolaños. And I travel. So uh, I travel with. I've through a network of photographers. Anywhere I go in the world, I meet people, other photographers through Instagram or whatever.
Sure.
So if I'm going to say, name a city, is like, oh, I know 5 people. I don't know them personally, but I know them online. I'll reach out
Yeah,
to them and go shoot. And
exactly.
I
Do
usually
you
do.
meet
So
up?
like, oh yeah, come, let's go shooting.
Do you meet up with them?
Um, yeah, yeah. So I meet up with people all the time, and
Good, 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 yeah.
yeah, and I travel with them. So there's a handful of people,
Um,
and through Mache, there's a whole network of people who just
uh-huh.
joined traveling together, and that's where I met Oscar and Guido and all these other people.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Um, but as far as influence, I mean, I could go on forever about that. I mean, there's so many photographers that I respect and love, and
Okay. Give me your
yeah,
top two. So-
Trent Park would be one.
okay.
Um, I mean, it's kind of if I was going to pick the top two, it might be a little cliche in a way because Trent Park and maybe Alex Webb, which are two of the most, I think
Mm.
they're kind of obvious in some ways.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. That's
And
okay.
two very different photographers, but
Yeah, yeah. Well, and we lost Dwayne Michaels this week on Tuesday.
sorry,
We lost Dwayne Michaels, the
yeah,
photographer who passed away on Tuesday. He was 94, but
yeah. I feel like there's been so many recently. I feel like so many have
yeah,
been.
I know. I mean, Martin Parr in December. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The last couple of years, I feel like yeah, it's been so
And he
many.
was young. He was 73. So it's
Yeah,
really sad. But um, okay, why don't you tell me, you've got a book out and you had a zine before that. Can you give me a
mhm.
little information on those?
Yeah, and I brought them over here. I can just show you real quick too.
Good. Okay.
Um, so actually, I'll do the zine first because I printed it first, I
Sure.
believe. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a zine I did on. It's the end of the world and I feel fine? Question mark. That was shot during the pandemic
Yeah.
in the U.S. So I did a road trip for like 3 months. So it's photos from
Uh,
the road, which it's
amazing.
also film and digital. So like you can see here, this is a panoramic film shot.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so this is the story of me traveling during the pandemic for 3 months,
Uh-huh.
essentially,
Uh-huh.
mixing black and white and color as well,
Yeah.
which was an interesting process because I think it was really helpful in a way because I had to learn how to shoot without people a lot of the time because there's
Yeah,
nobody
no
out.
kidding. Sure.
Yeah, so it really I think it helped me grow as a photographer, be more creative and look for
Mhm.
photos in a different kind of photo because I had to. I had no
Yeah, you
choice.
had to. And
Yeah.
and where were you driving? 3 months? So where were
Yeah, so I
you
spent 2 months.
traveling?
My U.S. home's in Austin, so I was in Austin,
Okay.
and we drove. Me and my ex-wife, we drove to Seattle.
Uh-huh.
So we took 2 months, and we actually got married on the way in Bozeman, Montana, specifically so we could go to Europe because she's a European citizen.
Uh-huh.
But I couldn't go if I was a family member at the
Ah,
time because of the pandemic.
okay.
So we
Yeah.
got married in Montana, went
It's
to Seattle, and on the way we stopped at a lot of the national parks, which were almost empty, which was amazing.
brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, I still appreciate that, and that's not something you probably ever had the chance to do again.
No kidding. Yeah.
So
What a
we
thing.
spent 2 months doing that, and then we flew to Europe for a while. Then we flew back, and then we took another month driving back to Austin. We left our car in Seattle and spent
Uh-huh.
another. So it was 2 trips really,
Huh.
3
Okay.
months total. Yeah.
Yeah. And and your book?
Yeah, and the book. Okay, so this is I got through iShot. So I submitted to. I was. I'm
Yeah.
printing a ton of books now, as
Okay.
everyone's probably aware. But it was pretty early. I don't remember how many books that came out before me. Not many. So, but I submitted to an open call. I think I submitted 10 images.
Yeah.
Um, didn't expect anything from it. And then they
Okay.
wrote, Marco wrote me back. It's like, hey, can you submit 30 more? And I'm like, sure. And actually, the thing is, so it's of a different stripe, and this is the one you were talking about in the
Yeah.
Bengal. So this is all in India and Bangladesh.
Okay.
But the funny thing is, I already had the book edited because I was planning on self-publishing. So I already had the book
Uh-huh.
ready to go, essentially.
Oh my God.
Um,
Well, lucky them.
yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, lucky, but at the same time, of course, they're editing, so they wanted to have their input. So it was a
Control.
little bit of a back and forth.
So what happened? Who won that? Did they
I
take
mean,
over?
honestly, Marco, he was very accommodating to me, but at
Uh-huh.
some point he had enough of me and he's like, okay, this is what we're doing. I'm like, okay, you've been fair, more than fair. You've listened to me, like, be
Uh-huh.
very picky about what I want.
Uh-huh.
So eventually he's like, okay, we're there. This is what we're going to do. I'm like, okay, that's fair.
That's good. Oh, well, good for you. Did I see who wrote the forward for
It
that?
was the neat.
That's what I thought. But I
Yeah.
wasn't going to throw that out there unless you confirmed. Okay, so
Yeah, yeah.
Neat
I had
Raw
met Vineet. I had
wrote
met
the
Vineet in
forward.
India, and I'd done a workshop with him, a 3-day workshop
Oh,
in Delhi.
yeah. Yeah. I got to do a workshop with him here in Rome, but
Oh, cool.
he's not
Yeah.
writing the forward of any book that I'm doing. So,
Yeah, I'm sure some of the photos in that book I was probably with Anita on that work. There's probably a
oh,
few of them,
that's
I'm sure.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah. He's so interesting. He's a good teacher.
yeah,
Um, yeah. Tell me about your crazy lifestyle of being this nomad. Like you're homeless by choice. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's kind of it sounds. I'm not really homeless. I have too many home.
no, I know. No,
Um,
first, yeah.
yeah, I'm choosing to be
Motivated.
in Poland right now.
Okay.
So I have a place here. I have a place in the U.S.
In Austin.
But it's rented out right now. So I'm essentially only going to the U.S. for work right now. I
Okay.
prefer to be overseas.
Yeah. When you're not working. But does
Yeah.
that lack of having a permanent base affect your creativity, in your opinion?
No, I think it helps because,
Okay.
like in Austin, I never shot much.
Yeah,
I think where
why? Why is that? Too familiar?
I find it not interesting. I lived there for 20 something years, and
Uh-huh.
I think when you see a place every day, it becomes not.
Banal. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and so
visual
now in
noise, right?
Warsaw, I used to shoot in Warsaw all the time. I'm in Poland right now,
Yeah.
and I used to shoot. I've shot a lot in Warsaw, but now I've kind of gotten to the point now where I'm like, okay, this feels like,
Saturated? That's
yeah.
interesting.
I just shot. It just feels, and I've been here long enough, and it feels like home now. So it's just,
Yeah, it loses
yeah,
that je ne sais quoi. I think you find it easier to find inspiration when you're a perpetual outsider,
yeah,
you're a
totally,
foreign
yeah,
place. So
yeah,
that's why you're drawn to your projects in India, etc. But
yeah.
um, well, now we're going to look at some photographs of yours, of course.
Cool.
But here we go. So it's the old iPad trick. So,
All right.
so hang on, let me get this up. Okay, so this is definitely American Gothic. It's like
Yeah.
very pan American Gothic. Death quite literally driving through a city. Can you describe what's going on here?
So yeah, this one is in that zine when I was doing the road trip in the U.S.
Okay.
I'm kind of quite proud of that photo because I had to be a little
Uh-huh.
creative with it.
Very. Yeah.
I was staying in a cheap hotel. I'm trying to remember the name of the town. I have it in the book probably.
Okay.
It has a very strange name, so I can't remember
Uh-huh.
it. It's a very small town on Route 66, I think in Arizona, I believe, or New
That's
Mexico.
it. Route 66. Okay.
Yeah, but outside this hotel, there's some kind of kitschy stuff around these towns sometimes. And outside this
Yeah.
hotel,
Right?
they had just an abandoned old car with a skeleton in it, like it's for tourists or
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah. But
But
that makes
again,
sense.
I was trying to be really creative about how to take photos without people. So I was trying to
Mhm.
think of ideas. And so for this one, what I did, as you said earlier, I'm shooting a lot of off-camera flash.
Yeah.
So I'm shooting through the windshield, and I didn't
Okay.
one issue you have with flash is the reflection you're going to have on glass.
Yeah.
So that's one good thing about off-camera. You can avoid it. You're not
Sure.
looking dead on with a flash.
Uh-huh.
But what I did for that actually is I put the flash in the car inside the skeleton's lap, looking up at him.
Okay.
So he would illuminate, and the camera
Uh-huh.
was looking through the windshield, and the flash is inside. And then I
Right.
just added some like movement to add the light trails and stuff.
Hilarious. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, that kind of is riffing on your past films, all the horror films that you've done,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
like Halloween Ends and The Exorcist Believer and whatnot.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've done a lot of horror films. No, yeah, it just kind of happened that way. It wasn't. Yeah.
Not intentional.
No.
Okay, I'm going to show you another. Here we go. That's a bit
Okay.
gorgeous. Okay, what's going on here? What is this?
That's another one I really like. Because
Um,
honestly, I don't like a lot of my photos that are popular, but I like this one.
this is a
Um,
ritual, obviously.
yeah, this is this crazy bear festival in the mountains of Romania, up near the
Huh.
Moldovan border.
Okay.
Um, so it was really hard to get there. I almost didn't make it because it was snowing, and I drove
Uh-huh.
from Bucharest. But it was a crazy festival where hundreds, maybe 1,000, probably hundreds of people are wearing bear skins. And they're dancing in the street, they're drinking, they get drunk,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
I got
Sounds
a lot of great photos. It was an amazing experience,
wow.
and the town was completely empty. I wasn't even sure if I was there the right day because it's hard to find information about it in English.
Oh, so
So I
it's
went
really
for
local.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the town was completely empty. There's only one hotel,
Uh-huh.
and then all of a sudden, like 1,000 people showed up, and it just took over the town. It was super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And why are they wearing these bear heads? What's the significance? Did you
I
find
think
that?
the story I heard is originally used to have actual bears. So they would take the bears but they were on chains and they were mistreated and
There's a lot of animal rights people going there.
yeah, so eventually, they cracked down on that and stopped
Uh,
doing that and it somehow
um,
transformed into this. And
huh.
there's you can find some stories online that there's groups of these guys they travel around to different towns and go to people's homes and they
Uh-huh.
dance and it's part of this ritual around the Christmas and New Year.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
But this was
great.
the biggest, and they do multiple parades, but that one was the biggest one. And Comanesti, I think is the name of the town. Yeah,
Amazing.
Comanesti.
Amazing. How'd you find out about it? You were just
I
researching or
just came
somebody?
across it online. Like I find many things. I
Uh-huh.
just saw something online, a photo, and I'm like, whoa, this looks weird. So then I started
Uh-huh.
investigating.
Yeah, yeah. Really very
It was
cool.
hard to find information on that one, actually, like in English, to even find the dates. And I
Sure.
think I did that like 5 or 6 years ago. I think it's become a little bit more popular now. I think some other
Yeah,
photographers
thanks
have
to
shot
you.
it.
Thanks to
But yeah,
you.
I think some other people shot it as well. I've seen, so
Yeah, yeah, that's what happens with the festivals here in Italy. First, it's
yeah,
you, and then
everywhere, I
it's
think.
usually
Yeah,
like a pile of friends that I didn't know were coming. So that's
yeah,
okay. That's cool. Okay, I'm going to show you another. So
yeah.
this is very uncanny. You got to describe what is going on here.
Yeah, so this is a kind of famous place in Austin. One of the few photos I have from Austin
No, there we go. Yeah.
anybody who knows Austin knows it's famous at sunset for these. There's like 1 million bats that live under this bridge that goes across to the Capitol in downtown, and they
Yeah.
fly off at sunset. And tourists line up every night to see them, like hundreds of
Ah,
tourists. It's a
this is
big tourist
really well
attraction.
known. Okay.
And I had never gone. And I've been there for many, many years, never gone to see the bats. And I went because I was trying to photograph for this
Sure.
project.
Okay.
But I found it quite difficult because they're really small, the bats, and they're really fast, and this light's getting really low. So it's hard to
Uh-huh.
even see them with your eye. I mean, they're just like flying really fast off into the horizon.
Uh-huh.
But you're on this bridge looking down, and there's people that kayaking and stuff on the river. So I put the flash just on full power, and I was shooting straight down at the river with the bats coming out underneath the bridge, essentially.
Oh, yeah. Wow. It's awesome. It's awesome. It totally
It kind
unexpected.
of it reminds me. I set aside a few of my favorite books, and one of them
Yeah.
was the Trent Park book, and it
Uh-huh.
has the bats on it as well on the cover.
Ah. Oh, very nice. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hard to not see your photos in other people's sometimes, but when you look at so many photographs.
Yeah, no kidding. Do you collect a lot of photo books?
I do, yeah. You can see, I'm in the other room, but you can see some of them behind me.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
those are all photo books. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to show you this one. You have to tell us where you've taken.
Yeah, that was more recent. That was like a year and a half, 2 years ago. It's in Karachi in
Okay.
Pakistan.
Pakistan, yeah.
Yeah,
Very nice. Beautiful.
yeah. So I went to Pakistan twice, to
Mhm.
Karachi, and I'm blanking where else I went, but
Mhm.
no, but Karachi, like, it's somewhere I always wanted to go, but it wasn't safe to go there until recently.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
beaches are crazy because they have all these camels and horses, and everybody goes there at sunset because it's too hot during the day. So like
Yeah.
the beaches are empty during the day.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But it's different there, and the families go, and they're not swimming so much as you can see. It's full of
Yeah.
families. They just go to see
Yeah.
they do photos on the camels and on the horses, and they have these like weird like go karts that have crazy lights on them and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So it's a little party at sunset. Yeah, so it's great for photos.
Yeah. Now, this is really beautiful. It's quite beautiful in a painterly way. Was that intentional? Because a lot of your photos are not like, intentionally beautiful, I think.
Yeah, I think it was just I'm going for that. To me, that's the perfect light. I love shooting a sunset or
Mm-hmm.
after flash and slow shutter, so you get that delay and that
Yeah, yeah, delay,
yeah.
slightly
So
soft.
so so I was
Okay.
going for that kind of look for sure.
Yeah, beautiful. Uh, oh, this is so fun. This is pretty joyous.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
there we
So
go.
that's in Bangladesh, and that's
Uh-huh.
in the of a different stripe book. Um,
Yes.
it's at a small fisher market in Bangladesh. I don't even. It was near Cox's Bazar.
Uh-huh.
So I was traveling with a few other photographers that I had met
Yes.
through Mate's workshops and stuff. But
Yes.
actually, I'm going to meet some of them again in a few months in Java. I'm going to Indonesia in a few
Oh,
when I get
beautiful.
time.
Okay. What are these? These
But
are flying fish kind of thing?
yeah, yeah. So it's the fish market. You have to go super early. Like you have to go at sunrise,
Oh, uh-huh.
and it's not near the town. So you have to hire a car, and it takes like an hour and a half to get there. So it's a commitment. You have to get up like before
It,
sunrise.
it is a commitment. Yeah.
You have to drive down there, or you'll miss it. So the boats come in at sunrise
Uh-huh.
and they lay all the fish out. So what they're doing is they're throwing them onto these like they have this all these tarps.
Yeah. Okay.
So they were like throwing the fish from the basket,
Oh,
onto the
okay.
tarps. So
Okay.
yeah, I was trying to freeze them, like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. And this?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's in India.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can say it right. Kumari, I think is the name of the town.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's the southernmost point of India. So it's where two oceans meet, and you have these like crazy statues out in the water, which you can kind of see in the background there. It looks like something out of Game of Thrones or something. It's really, really
Yeah.
impressive. And they have all these pilgrims that go there.
Mm-hmm.
And this was again at sunset, and it's really windy, and it's always really windy there. Every time I've been there twice, and it's really
Okay.
windy. Um, and it's very dramatic kind of photo. I think I'm using flash there, but it didn't have a huge effect because I was further away, maybe I
Yeah,
guess.
you're quite far away.
Yeah, but I really like this photo as well. This is like my favorite type of photo. Something that's unique and captures a moment in a
Yeah,
surreal,
these
beautiful
two
way. So
women dressed in white. It's very
yeah,
beautiful. Yeah. A long exposure, again,
yeah,
soft.
yeah. It was pretty. It was getting dark, so yeah, I had to be. Yeah,
Yeah, of
yeah.
course. Uh,
Oh yeah. Bangladesh as well.
yeah,
That's in Dhaka, I believe. Yeah, it's in Dhaka. That one was. I'm happy with that photo, but it was one of those ones that just happened. I was just walking down the street and I turned and saw that and I snapped it immediately. And if I
street
didn't
photography.
get
Yeah.
it in that frame, it was my only chance with that in the background.
Great
You know?
geometry happening with the building and the eggs, egg
Yeah,
shells.
exactly. So I had one shot. I just turned it and just snapped it. It was just like instinct. Yeah.
Quietly political. Um, okay. Oh, here's panorama, correct?
Yeah. So I wanted
Would
to
you shoot
include
with?
like when I finished the photos, like one of the panoramic ones.
Yeah,
I think
Panax.
that was shot with the X-Pan actually. So
Yeah.
it was shot with the one that's not truly panoramic. It just uses the
Oh,
panoramic format. Um,
gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
So that was on the road trip as well. It's in a strange place called Sandpoint, Idaho.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I kid you not, this was during the pandemic, so it's a little bit Trumpy there, Trump country a little bit there. And you had the Statue of
It's a
Liberty out
little
there.
ironic,
And
when
so
stuff
I
goes
was
on.
walking to this pier, and there
Uh-huh.
was a guy driving around the parking lot playing like country American music with a gigantic American flag around it. Just he was just driving around town all day, just
Oh,
showing his patriotism.
right.
But he was driving this parking lot. This was out here, and I swear a bald eagle flew over me at the same time because there was a lot of them in this town. These
That was a
bald eagles.
sign.
It was really it's like, is this real? This is insane.
Yeah, this is a sign.
Doesn't get any more American than this. So.
No, exactly. A classic. Oh my God. Um, let's see.
And people there were pretending like the pandemic didn't exist, essentially, in that part of
Of
America.
course.
So
Of
yeah,
course. No masking, no
yeah,
distancing.
yeah.
But you're out on the
I
lake
even was
with the
told not to
house.
wear my mask inside a place one time there, not in Idaho, but
Oh,
somewhere like
oh,
Wyoming or something.
that's beautiful. You should see
Yeah,
us. We were all masked up here for like so long. It's crazy.
yeah.
Anyway, but okay, here.
That's very recent. That's my last trip. So that was in
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, that was in January. So I went to
Right.
Vietnam
Mm-hmm.
with a few friends. The real Sir Robin, who's a YouTuber. I don't know if you know him, German photographer, YouTuber.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Yura Maticic, who I've traveled with a few times. And we were in
Mm-hmm.
Vietnam. We were in Hanoi mostly, and then we started. We weren't planning to go to this town originally. But then we decided, let's do something. Hanoi was great to shoot, but we needed something different. So it's like, we found these mountain towns where they had these really crazy markets.
Mm-hmm.
Called
Yeah.
one. This is called Baka. Yeah, and it was amazing. Like they have these. It's a series of villages in the mountains, and every day a different village has a market. So we went to a few of them, and it was very remote. And it wasn't touristy at all, and
Mm-hmm.
very, it was a little rough. It was hard to find food that we could eat, and it
Really?
was interesting.
Very. So you're, yeah, of course, you're the 28 millimeter and you're really
Yep.
close range. And I like the way the face is like just slightly obscured by the strings, etc. And
Yeah.
he's almost covering his face intentionally. It's lots of layering. I like what's going on with the
Yeah.
mirror in the front where you've got his reflection. Very
Hmm.
nice. Three,
Thank
very
you.
three-dimensional. Yeah.
Yeah, anytime as a street photographer, anytime you see a mirror, you're looking for what to do with it.
Well, yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah, I mean, I always do. I feel like I do it too much, but you got to. I mean, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Take advantage when it presents
yeah,
itself.
yeah. So this
Hey,
one,
what's this, Erie?
yeah, I'm almost reluctant to say what it is because it loses the
Okay, so
charm
wait,
of it.
leave us with the mystery. Just how did
Yeah, but
you
it's
get
in
this?
what's the name of the island? Madeira. It's on Madeira, in the city of Madeira.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can say what it is. I don't care, but it does take away sometimes if you lose the mystery because it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, people think it could be AI or something because it just looks like it doesn't look real. It looks like aliens and
Right.
it's so
It
weird
does.
looking.
Looks alien to me.
Yeah,
So,
so I was staying at an Airbnb in the city, and weirdly enough, they had a little rooftop with a couch and like a lounge area, and they had a couple
sure.
mannequins up there.
Oh.
So they're mannequins, and I was trying to do something interesting with sunset. I was trying to do something interesting with a flash, but I'm like, you know what? It's not.
Mm-hmm.
I got some photos with the flash, but they weren't really that interesting. I was like, I'll just try slow exposure without the flash, just to give it this weird. And then I was like, really happy with how it was turning out without the slow shutter still. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Nice. Very nice. And then this one's rocking.
yeah. And so this
How
is
did you get this? What's
that's
going
in
on?
Chennai, which again, kind of like Karachi, the beaches are great. They have a lot of horses on the beach there too, and
Uh-huh.
it was great for shooting. I got a couple really good photos on that beach actually in Chennai. Some with horses, but so this one, I was shooting these kids. It was an accident
Mhm.
how this kind of turned out this
No
way.
way. With the teeth.
Yeah,
It was an accident. Okay.
yeah. Well, so I was shooting these kids, and they were getting, and I got some other good ones that were a little bit more normal. But
Uh-huh.
they, when it's that dark and you have the flash on, it can be more intense to people, and they started getting a little blinded, and so every
Okay.
time I was trying to shoot, they were like doing this, they were
Yeah.
hiding.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I don't want to blind these kids anymore. I was off camera, so I was pointing it at the sand and just
Uh-huh.
trying to bounce it a little bit.
Okay. You're bouncing.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it was kind of, I didn't expect to have that, hitting their teeth more, like the whites.
You
And I did
didn't
a little post
augment
work on
that
it,
in
but yeah,
post-production? You
yeah,
didn't
no, I did
work
some
on that?
post work on it. But I do on all my photos,
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah,
a little bit, but yeah,
of
I
course.
didn't expect to have this effect. It was an accident to get
Very cool silhouettes. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Your signature form there. I asked you for this one last minute because
That's also recent. So I just, yeah, because you saw it, I just posted it like last week, I think.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
so those on the same trip in Vietnam. I think that was in Da Nang, at a
Okay.
market.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's just a crazy market. It was a great scene. A little story about this is I couldn't shoot more. I mean, I like this one, but
Short
because
story because we're going to run out of time.
okay, yeah, just to say one of the hairdressers didn't like me photographing, so I only got like one shot. But she was
You
like,
got one
you know.
shot and that was it.
Yeah, the one on the right
Amazing.
arm. Yeah, it's
Okay.
reversed, I think, right? But
Yeah,
it's
it's reversed for the way you're looking
yeah,
at
one
it.
of the hairdressers didn't like me shooting her, so I stopped. So I only got one shot at it.
I love it because it's just perfectly split. It's two different shots.
Yeah,
It's like two
two different
garage
shots. Yep,
shots.
yep.
Crazy. Okay. Very, very, very funny. Um, because we have to wrap up, let me ask you one quick question. So, where is your camera taking you next?
So I'm going to Java, to Indonesia in like a
Uh-huh.
month. I've never been
Uh-huh.
there. It's been on my list of places to go. So
Okay.
yes, I'm
Amazing.
excited.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. Max, I want to thank you very much. Thanks everybody for tuning in to Max Sturgeon. And I'm Cindy Emond. I perpetually cut my name off in the introductions. So I'll
Thanks so much
just
for
say,
having me. It was super fun.
yeah, thank you. And thank you from Street Macadam. And we will see you soon and be following you. Thanks very much.
Cool. Thanks so much.
Bye now.
All right. Bye.